Hello guys, S2W here as your average consumer with your casual consumer's review. In this video, I was able to grab a sneaker that not a lot of people actually went for here in Canada. The images of this newly upgraded model was leaked quite a while ago, but Adidas have finally released them to the public in time for the upcoming winter and colder months of 2017. Today, I have the Adidas NMD XR1 Winter in the gray colorway here for a review. At the time that this video will be uploaded, I'm pretty sure you will still be able to grab a pair online. If it was 1 year ago, it was near impossible to get even a mesh NMD in Toronto, Canada. Even after a few days since launch, when I've decided to buy the sneaker for a review, a full-size run is still available. So after watching my video and if you want to check them out, chances are it's still possible to buy one. But I digress, the model of the NMD that we have here today is not something completely new. We've heard of the XR1s multiple times, and if you're subscribed to me, I've already done quite a few of these NMD XR1s review already. However, what makes this silhouette special is that they've tuned it up for a winterized look and warmth. Cold weather ready for the rough winter months. What have they remodeled from the original XR1 to create this? Let's take a closer look at these sneakers. In this version of the NMD XR1, we will immediately notice a few differences in terms of its design and materials that's different than what we regularly see on normal XR1s. The most drastic difference is that this model has a high-cut ribbed collar that simulates the same feeling of a high-cut sock hugging around our ankles. I'm not sure what happened, but something I did notice is that the collar on the finished product versus stock photos online was different. The online version seems to have a thinner and looser collar from the looks of it, so it does seem like Adidas have changed their design since the taking of those pictures and winterized this shoe to its warmest potential by using thicker materials to cover up our skin, creating the best heat insulator by trapping extra body heat off of our ankles within the shoe. This collar is also stretch friendly as well, and will expand in accordance to the width of our ankles. Honestly, this collar reminds me of the same design used on the Adidas Tubular Dooms, so nothing too out of the ordinary or something we haven't seen before. Moving down towards the shoe, the whole upper is made out of a type of knit material. It is not prime knit, however, as most of you already know by now, is a thin, breathable, and flexible knit material used on many other Adidas footwear products. From just looking at this, you can see the jagged or rigidness of the material as if it's a rough tightrope. This knit is definitely thicker and more structured than your regular prime knit, and almost feels like mesh. I personally think it makes sense, as it should offer a more durable layer of shielding for weather protection in the winter. But as you can see by touch, it's quite flexible after all. Something you don't see by the naked eye is that the overall upper is categorized into two portions. The whole toe box area, or I guess the region that's beyond the gray taping over here, is a secondary layer of what feels to be a polyester shell right under the knit upper. In short, you can see the upper from the midfoot area to the front is double layered, increasing its water resistancy and warmth inside the shoe. Whereas the other half, the midfoot region to the back of the sneaker, is just plain knit upper, so it'll feel stretchier and more forgiving here. Also on this silhouette, I do notice that they've added some see-through overlays here running above the rim of the midsole, looping from the midfoot area of the shoe to the back of the sneaker. My guess here is that it adds a secondary protective layer to minimize water entry, and usually when an overlay like this is applied, it also strengthens the knit in those areas, perhaps designed to give more stability to the shoe by preventing our feet from sliding off the midsole while wearing them. At the midfoot area, we will see the same midfoot caging system like every NMD XR1 that's on the market. We have the same netted frame on the lateral side with multiple see-through holes, whereas on the medial side, we have a non-see-through enclosure. On this pair though, Adidas have used leather to create the cage rather than the regularly seen plastic TPU piece. In fact, this leather reminds me of the same leather used on the triple gray NMD XR1 that I've done a review on. But regardless, it's always nice to see some higher end materials used on shoes like these, which I always appreciate. According to Adidas though, this leather cage is additionally equipped with water repellent finish, so any water droplets will just slide or drip right off easily, keeping the leather from water damage. Curiosity then hits me, so I've thrown a few water droplets onto the upper, and surprisingly, the water just sits right on top of the knit material, which then I've come to realize that most likely, this whole upper is water resistant as well, just like the newly released Ultra Boost ATR. Different from the other XR1s though, they have utilized a skinny type of rope lace here in gray to match up with the overall color scheme of the shoe. Seen by the naked eye, there are also repeating dark gray streaks on the laces as well, which I immediately turn on my camera's flash and voila, turns out my intuition was right and it's definitely 3M reflective, adding a wonderful surprising pop to the sneaker. The lace ends are TPU dipped, and the result of that can be seen here with a smooth, plasticky, and bendable finish. Behind the shoe, we will see the same tongue label patch where the iconic pull tab is threaded through on every XR1. On this pair though, this tongue label is made out of buttery suede, a questionable choice as I'm very curious as to how it's going to work in wet scenarios, especially in winter. Unlike traditional XR1s, you won't be able to pull the pull tab at all here, as it seems like it's sewn shut to the upper. On the topic of pull tabs, strikingly enough, they have removed their famous slogan, the brand with the 3 stripes text on this design. For this model, it's completely whited out and instead, they've added a Hayamovi logo near the top. Not really sure what it represents, but it looks like a square with an X inside decorated with various patterns to fill in the spaces. As for the midsole, it's the standard NMD XR1 Boost cushioning. Boost is the marshmallow-like material you see here that is popular for its cloud-like, bouncy comfort when being stepped on. However, on NMDs, they are muted by the EVA stability plugs on the side, so if you want to feel the potential of Boost, get something else like the Pure Boost or Ultra Boost because NMDs will have a flatter, stable stride. And just like any regular XR1s, we will see the same 2 stability plugs on the lateral side, with the front plug embedded into the boost material and the back plug hanging outwards on the surface. While on the medial side, there's only one back plug, which mirrors exactly like the one on the lateral side. Inside the shoe, we have the same insole-ish surface, or what a lot of people have been saying, a fixed insole that cannot be removed. It's essentially a felt piece of layer that separates our feet from the boost midsole that you can see on every NMD. Also, like all XR1s, the inner lining contains no extra padding, and you'll feel an inner heel counter at the back to create additional support and stability for the shoes. Other than that, it does feel like the shoe is more structurally robust inside and out to keep the heat in and the cold out. Flipping over the shoes, we have the same thin rubber outsole that we see on every NMD, with the typical waffle patterns to increase the traction points under our feet. From a winter perspective, it's particularly strange as there will be snow and ice on the ground, so I personally was looking for an upgraded design instead of this flat and smoothened outsole, but I guess they wanted to keep the street style heritage more than the actual quote-unquote winter ready appeal for this part. Anyways, here are some Adidas NMD XR1 Winter in the great colorway fit footage. Fit wise, for my new viewers, I do have wide feet and I bought this at my true to size like all my NMDs because I like putting an insole inside. But even without an insole, it felt great lengthwise, snugger than usual because the upper is a little bit thicker. Widthwise though, for some reason, I'm not sure if it's just me, but I can feel both of my feet stepping on a medial block more than I remember while wearing my regular NMD PK XR1s. It digs deep into my arch like what the NMD R2s or CS2s with the higher medial block is doing to me. But since this model has the standard height medial block from the first release of the NMDs, it's quite shocking as how uncomfortable these were on my feet proportion. Either they have made this shoe more narrow at the heel area, or the thicker upper has something to do with this, but I'm not a fan of this fit. Regardless, I would recommend buying this at your most comfortable NMD R1 or XR1 sizing. Comfort wise on the midsole, honestly speaking, they feel like any other NMD because there's nothing changed underneath. If you like the cushioning of NMDs, you will like it on this pair as well. The only thing that's changed is the upper, and in this case, I think it worked really well in keeping our feet warm. Simple concept really by making the material thicker and greater in area that covers our feet. I personally do think that these look better than the regular XR1s in terms of the contour with the high collar, showing off a very sleek street style and modern look. But comfort wise, just be cautious. I would recommend trying these on whenever you can. Price wise though, these were $240 Canadian before tax. $50 more than the last Primeknit XR1s that I've made a review on, which was the triple black XR1 V2s. I have to say, for a price like this, you're probably better off getting a water resistant winter boot instead, a mainstream one as well with this kind of money. Don't get me wrong though, these shoes are still comfy and stylish for what it's worth, but the highlight or keyword here is stylish. For an everyday user, let's be honest, when it's filled with slush or 6 inches of snow outside during December, I don't think anyone will want to risk sliding with a slippery outsole as these NMDs. These shoes definitely fit better for the fall or spring seasons when there's no ice or slush, just not with winter, at least not in our Canadian winter. If only they redesigned a thicker outsole. As always, throw me some likes if you like this video and let me know in the comments what you think about this winterized model of the NMD XR1. XR1s were always the underdog of the NMDs, I feel, because they were released during the weirdest time of the NMD hype. One could say it's way too early or too late. I also think that it's because the colorways available for this silhouette is currently too bland, so everyone is just skipping this. But seeing so many NMDs going on sale now, pretty sure these will be a great shoe to own when it's much cheaper. That's it for today, SUW signing off.